Alright, so I have some beaver tails that I saved from this year's trapping season. We got some 2 small ones and 3 larger ones. I'm going to show you how to make sun-rendered beaver tail oil. I have some old beaver tail oil that I made a while ago. I've used it in some lure, canine lure that I have a video of that. You can go check that out if you're interested in that. But this I did a little bit differently than I'm going to do here. And you can kind of see there's a little bit of sediment on the bottom. It's normally when you think of beaver tail oil, you think of it as being really dark liquid. The way I did this was I skinned each of the tails, and it included some of those up there that are skinned right there. I skinned the tails, saved the hide, and only used, I chunked up the fat inside the tail and only used that. I put that in a pan and kind of simmered it on low heat and cooked that fat down, and that's basically how I did this. So that gives a kind of a lighter color. It's a very quick process. If you really need beaver tail oil or you want it right now, that's your way to go. But my personal opinion is that you don't get as good of a beaver smell doing it this way. Whereas what I'm going to show you today, sun rendering, I'm going to chunk up everything basically into cubes, throw it in this jar here, and we're going to let it sit. And while it sits, the oils start to kind of separate, and I think that you know, including this hair and stuff, that it's very close to the vent. It's got some, you know, castor smell to it. It's got some oil sac smell to it. I think that all kind of mixed together. I think the hide has a smell itself. That all kind of mixes together when you sun render, and it gives you a more kind of uniform beaver smell. Whereas this is more, if you do it this way, it's more of like just a beaver fat smell. I also have just a couple feet here, some hind feet. I've never done this before, but I'm going to just chunk these up and throw them in as well. I don't think it'll hurt anything. It may not add to the quantity of oil that I get, but I think it will, like I say, add to some of the smell and create a good beaver smell. Basically, we're just going to chunk these up into pieces. I got a jar here. We're going to throw it in this jar and then put it out in the sun for all summer basically. So we'll get to it. As little as you want to go, the smaller the better, because it'll render out the oil a little bit quicker. So the smaller the better, and as small as you want to go, and then just start throwing in your jar. You can use, I'm using a glass jar. That's your best bet. This is an old you know, pretzel thing here. It's plastic. You can also use something like this. No big deal. I believe glass heats up, you know, captures the heat, holds the heat a little bit better. So if you have something like a wide mouth that you can throw something like this in, you can do that. If you just want to use something plastic, make sure, if you can, get something clear though. That's going to allow the sunlight and the UV rays to break down the beaver tail. It's also going to kind of create a greenhouse effect and heat up you know, all the beaver tail in here, which is going to also render out the oil. So anyway, this is about it. I'll get through these, and I'll show you how I seal this, or actually you don't want to seal it, but I'll show you how I get this ready to put it outside so no bugs and stuff get in there. Alright, so this is how much we got. I chopped up all the beaver tails and all those couple hind feet that I had. You probably see one right there. And we pretty much filled up my jar completely, so now we just gotta seal this off so that no bugs can get in. We're not sealing any air, it's not airtight. So what I do is I take a piece of cloth like this, I lay it on there, and I screw the cap on top. That just creates like a little bit more of a barrier. It's a way tighter fit. Even small little gnats or flies can't get in there, lay eggs. Maggots can't crawl through there. You don't want any bugs getting in there because they'll start to eat that and they start pooping all in there, which makes it start rotting, which is not what we're looking for. If it starts rotting, it puts a whole different smell into this that we aren't looking for. So this is the easiest way, and honestly the best way that I've figured out how to do this. We're allowing the air to move freely in and out, but we're not allowing anything else to get in there. At one time I did fish oil, and I made an airlock by drilling a hole in the top, siliconed a piece of 1/4-inch tubing, had that come out and into a 5-gallon bucket. So I wouldn't recommend doing that. There are videos on YouTube showing that as a good way to keep the bugs out of here, but the reason I don't recommend doing that is because when I did it, what happened was during the day all the gas is heated up in here. They pushed out and bubbled out through the water just like they should, but at night they cooled off and shrunk, and it created a vacuum inside here which drew water up in through my 1/4-inch tubing into my jar. After a few nights of cycling through, drawing more water every night, eventually got full of water and started pushing the pieces of fish that I chopped up out through the 1/4-inch tubing and into the 5-gallon bucket. It was a complete disaster. I had to throw away the whole batch, so I really do not recommend doing that. Anyway, like I say, this is a lot easier, it's quicker, and it does the job. So there's no point in putting more effort into it than you really need to. I'm going to go ahead and set this outside in the sun. I'll probably end up trimming this around so we can let all the sun, as much sun as possible, hit and start breaking down the beaver tails. So I'll probably end up doing that, but we'll put it out all summer, let it sit. I'm going to upload this video so that if anybody is looking to do this in the spring and do it, have it sit all summer, they can go ahead and do it. But eventually I might, at the end of summer, I'll do an update video showing how much beaver tail oil I was able to render down out of this. So anyway, if you thought this was informative or helpful, please like and subscribe, and thanks for watching.